Hey everyone, and welcome to Found Friday. Today is obviously Friday, February 20th, 2015, and today we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not marketers are effectively using search to achieve their goals. I have with me, as always, Ray, Ginzametrics founder and CEO, and I kind of want to kick things off with what started this conversation, which is the fact that according to a study done by marketing profs, more than half of B2B marketers said that SEO is one of the top effective ways to reach their marketing goals. Where I want to call shenanigans on that statement is that I agree that it is a super effective way to reach your marketing goals. The problem is we're not actually seeing people use the data very effectively. We're not seeing people use it to inform their strategy, to make better decisions, to create better content, using it across the organization for things like advertising, social media posts, better email marketing, anything. So that's kind of why we're having this conversation. Ray, you've been in the SEO game for a really long time and know a lot about what goes into informing SEO data.
Yep.
When we're talking to folks about Ginzametrics and SEO platforms, how often do you actually see people taking the data and using it to make informed decisions throughout their entire marketing organization?
I'd say the companies that live and die by search do a really good job of it because obviously it's their business. There are a lot of businesses that feel like they need to do SEO, and so they start having management push them to do it. But it doesn't become a really long-term strategic initiative, and so as a result, they're not really relying on the data a lot of times. So, our customers tend to be pretty reliant on the data, but we do speak with a lot of other companies out there that, even in this day and age, they'll say things like, "Oh, we're just starting to get into SEO, we're trying to figure it out," and you can just, tell that they're quite a ways off from being able to be effective at actually making it work for them.
I think that I always know kind of a little bit about the type of organization that we're talking to when somebody's willing to spend $5, $7, $10,000 on an email marketing tool or an email send tool,
Yep.
but $1,000 seems like too much for marketing analytics, understanding the content that you're actually sharing via email,
Yep.
and making smarter decisions about how people are finding you when you're not directly emailing them. And also, this goes back to the conversation that we're always talking about, which is if you understand the search data and you really have a keen understanding of the topics and keywords that your audience is naturally looking for, you can create better email subject lines. You can create better headers. You can increase click-through rates. And that same principle can be taken into paid advertising, can be taken into social media, can be taken into other landing pages, all of these other off-site content areas. So I'm always hesitant to get into a serious conversation with somebody who's like, oh, I don't want to pay more than $100 for this, but
Yeah.
we're totally cool with paying $10,000 for some email marketing platform, which has its place too. I'm not saying that email marketing is not important, but you've obviously got a mismatch of what your priorities are.
Yeah. It's really funny. I think there's some reasons behind that. One is search, for some reason, organic search in particular is always viewed as this free channel. So, because you're not paying Google, people think you don't need to spend money on it. So that means they don't want to spend that much money on creating content or investing in the technology to help them actually make sure that they're creating the right content and making sure it's optimized and making sure that they're performing well in comparison with their competitors. For some reason, there's a mindset gap there. Email, I think with emails and other sorts of tools, there's people probably feel like they're paying for an action for something to happen. Where with the search, you have to do a lot of the work yourself. So it's at the end of the day, you can either hire an agency or you have to do it yourself. You have to create the content. You have to make changes. And so I think that is one of the reasons that people run into these mental hurdles.
It's interesting because social had kind of a similar growing pain for a while, which was social media is free, and therefore, why do I need to pay anyone or anything to, optimize social media or do anything regarding social media because like you can post to Twitter for free, you can create Facebook pages for free, etc. You know, you bring up an interesting point about having to do a lot of the SEO work yourself. I mean, this is one of the things that we keep trying to innovate and work on, which is what is the right mix of smart recommendations, us helping do some of this for you, creating some automated steps, and also realizing that a completely automated, non-human interaction process is actually probably going to get you worse results in the long haul, because all of that super automated stuff where people are just like spinning out, you know, generic content eventually gets you dinged by Google or by other search engines. And so the algorithms and the search engines catch on to this. And so do audiences. Like this kind of content that just gets generated randomly based on like, oh, these are 5 keywords and some other content, like we're going to spit out a page. No one actually really wants to read that. So while you may get traffic, you're going to be bouncing those people out left and right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a big problem. It's funny because content creation in particular, you know, there's a lot of services out there now that are helping you do this, and it's good that you're able to scale that portion of it out. But still, it's the relevancy around the content that you're creating is so important, and I think it's one of those areas that, because it's so expensive and it's so hard to get right, people they want to slack off on that, you know, more than anything else.
Yeah, the idea that because you don't have to pay to be, you know, on Google, I guess, you know, would be the thing, is that search is something that will happen naturally, is always an interesting conversation, because like, yes, you should be creating good content that gets naturally found, and there should be natural inherent rewards for that. So your sole focus when creating content should not be just Google rankings. It should be to be consumed the best by your target audience. That's the real goal of any marketing content, right? Because no matter what your rank on Google is, if people get to the content and it doesn't match their expectations or doesn't match their needs, then they're going to leave, right? So, but when we're talking about this, the inherent value of ensuring that you have good SEO practices is to make sure that those pages are easy for the search engines to find. So that includes things like structure and crawlability, but then the meat of the content is the easiest to find, the easiest to consume. So there's all these different pieces that are really at play kind of working in this, and a lot of times they're handled by different folks. So this is one of the things you and I talk about, right? Which is a lot of times there's somebody creating the specific content for different channels and somebody else's job to optimize it for search engines, right? So like those are page structure, and a lot of times those folks fall in a more technical role within organizations.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's yeah, I think the question of roles is really hard to deal with too, because a lot of times the person who is responsible for search has no team, or they have no say with the larger teams. You know, so the people, you know, I know that we've talked with some of our customers that have been really good at this. The people who have been really successful at making this work for them have been those people where they may be responsible for search, but they're able to come in and kind of rally the troops. They're able to get all the different teams working together. They're able to get the buy-in from management. And so you have to be very social. You have to be very kind of savvy in terms of the overall organization in order to make it work, if that's the situation you're in. If you are lucky to be in one of those businesses that's just driven by search, you know, then you're probably going to be better off where you have the entire product team focused on making sure it's an investment. But that's still very much a rare case these days.
And it's interesting because marketers said that company websites remain the top digital channel for their marketing efforts, with 81% rating their site's effectiveness and helping accomplish their key marketing goals. Email ranks second at 71%. And then SEO is the only other digital channel rated as being effective by more than half of the marketers surveyed. And
yeah, that seems odd to me.
Calling it two separate things. But I will say that like maybe what we're talking about is driving traffic from other marketing channels to the website. So sure, like I'll give you that. This idea with SEO though, being rated as an effective channel means because it's typically higher quality traffic, right? Because it's the thing you like me let's do this, you know, kind of a deal. Or other episodes, but not using decisions and to inform your
So the yeah, it's one of the things that was interesting to me was you know, when you're talking about companies that say that this is one of their more effective marketing channels, the first question I would have with that is, you know, if we were really saying that half or more than half of the companies are happy or getting some sort of positive business result with SEO, um, I would ask, you know, what percentage of that is actually a broad range of topics and keywords, or is it something that is more branded? I can see a lot of companies feeling happy with how they're performing if they're primarily getting branded traffic, but that's kind of not really the main point. It's good, but it's not. You're not really capturing the full opportunity. So there may be some case of companies, you know, being satisfied with um, performance that they think is amazing. That's probably leaves a lot of room for improvement. But you know, I think what you're getting into as well, where you're talking about SEO as kind of this signal or guidepost for all of your other marketing strategies. I think that's really critical. The A number of companies that I hear talking about content marketing in particular and don't have a solid search strategy are still, there's still a ton of them out there. And I talk to people all the time, and they, for some reason, they still have this kind of opinion that SEO and content marketing in general are two separate things. And SEO is much more of this technical thing that the web guys deal with, and content marketing is where marketing lives. And so, you know, I know we've touched on this quite a bit in the past, but I think that being able to use search as the basis for all of your other marketing strategies, I think is really important, because there really is no other channel that lets you build this traffic model, this predictive traffic model around how much traffic you can actually expect to get if you perform well in search, and that's going to naturally drive a lot of additional traffic from other channels, because you're going to get that feedback loop going.
Talking about SEO and we're talking about search, we're talking about all of the interesting things that data, and that data that includes understanding at the competitor level when you're talking about the topics. Are they finding? What kinds of find out that when people are searching for a specific video white page, you know, or you can help map your content, that sort of thing. So I think it's really important to a specific landing page.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing that for us has always been, I know, super attractive in our marketing. Just the fact that you do have such a rich data set. It's really the predictive power of search, if you do it right, it's pretty incredible, and you can use it in so many different ways, far beyond just search. We've seen a lot of our customers be really successful with using our search volume data in the context of their competitive strategy, how they're going to start taking out competitors. And they use it for a lot of their social marketing as well. So everything that they do, the people who are doing a really good job, they're able to, in particular, I would say they're able to use the data across search, social, and email very effectively. And it's specifically because of the nature of, you can see how much traffic you're going to get if you perform well. You can get really granular about exactly which keywords, what type of audiences you're going to be targeting, and the more you're able to combine those data sets, and the more effective you're going to be as a whole.